All right. Good evening. This is July 30th. This is a Tuesday. It's going to be a pretty busier week overall. We're looking at the monthly candle here in the middle. Then we have our typical profiles. We're going to take a quick peek at the footprint for the daily, a little bit at the stats, ranges, and then we'll go a little in depth with the action that we saw um, from the from the indices themselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this sector updates as well. Just a website that we use, pretty simple. So this was the day we finished 50 basis points under. The main weakest being the technology sector. Um, a lot of this was just weak in general, but definitely the earnings that we had today, which was Microsoft, AMD, and a few others. AMD is down here, so you can take a quick look at that. The video is down 7%. Broadcom 4.5. This is the earnings for today. We're gonna have the earnings tomorrow for Wednesday, primarily for Qualcomm and Meta. Data we had was 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Tomorrow's focus is going to be the no-brainer FOMC. So just be patient with that, but don't forget about the earnings that comes afterwards, which is Meta, incredibly important. They should be under communications, correct? Yes, communications. All right, minute and a half. So again, we'll start here at the monthly candle. Should be pretty simple to see up here. Looks like we have what is that? Inverted hammer, I believe. Something along those lines. It may even turn into an engulfing, depending on how we look at it for the Nasdaq. I digress. That's going to be the monthly. Just a quick look at that. We are towards the open. I'll go ahead and turn this off over here. We are towards the open for. Oh, I muted it. I just want to actually exit it as well. Let's just do this here. So I'm going to take good look at this. We're still, regardless of how, heavy this selling is, we are at the top quarter, the top third of, the prior month. So don't get me wrong. For us, the one time frame, we have to go down 175 points. Um, that's, can happen, but it's going to be especially given tomorrow, stuff can happen. And it's then, the end of the month as well, just as important. Nasdaq's a little different. We did almost hit this low, but was able to protect it. So this is nice. Just something interesting to look at. Drop this down to a weekly. We've been looking at this every day. We're back in this balance range. We may try to balance here under these key levels here. This weekly on the ES should be about the same situation. We're just balancing a little higher. Fair enough, because Take is taking a breath, taking a break. They need to catch their breath. And then we go down to the actual daily candle. Again, this is indeed Tuesday, so we have Monday and then Tuesday here. So we had our big sell-offs, you know, riding down the five simple moving average on the daily. Still multiple closes. We should be about 10 closes under now. Try to accept balance here. You know, we just ended up reverting. We'll look at the market profile to go in depth shortly. This is still the daily. Not the same situation here, but a lot more exploration to the downside, right? Yep, a lot more exploration to the downside, and this should be a higher low by like a tick maybe two. So very nice from their side. We're about neutral for the delta overall. We have some sellers hanging around here for sure. This is for the Nasdaq. Again, I'll look at the profile, just real consolidated in here. Makes sense. Again, I'll take a peek at that later to see how that happened. Same thing here, but just a little more elongated. A lot of battling in this area. No real activity below. And a failure up above. Fair enough. Okay. Call that a mark there. And then just take just a gander at this. Again, we just had multiple consolidation days. This is on the Nasdaq. But just notice, the value. So just a lot of compression here. The Monday, the Friday, the Thursday after dropping. So we're balancing lower. It's a little higher, but lower overall in the grand scheme of things. This goes back to April. So we're still hovering above this high volume node. So that's nice. We open up today, kind of bounce off of it. Going off the prep this morning, we are looking pretty bullish. We just failed. Just the buyers just failed overall. The sellers were able to, able to hold passively and kind of really step on the gas when they had their opportunity, which is nice. We break through this high volume node, which was key for me. Clear breakthrough, real clean, no issues. Tried to test it, couldn't get over it, couldn't even trade within that zone, and then we just pretty much just balanced here, and then we had our earnings, our big earnings for Microsoft, AMD for today. The Microsoft wasn't the Microsoft was the one that ended up selling off a bit. We ended up rising a bit, or we started rising off for after the AMD, but we'll look at that in a little bit. So just something to look at here. So I guess this would be a multi-distributed profile. This is just kind of ugly, but sure. I'm not really sure what to make of this, but I mean, we close lower. This may be a situation where we gravitate back to this high volume node, or which is really up here now with this VPOC at this point with this little composite. This goes back for about 2 weeks. I'll avoid merging these just for the sake of now. I'll do that on my own. Actually, I did not check see if there's like any leftover singles. I'm gonna leave that for another time possibly. But you know what? Let's go ahead and knock this bad boy out. And the way I'm categorizing singles as if there is no action that was touched for that day. I try to leave like little ones like up here out, but because these are already towards like the extremes of the day. So I mean, I don't know. But I'm just putting in here just how to have it for now. Call this 7:30 singles. What time we got? We're at 7.5. Fair enough. Let's keep this pushing. All right, we have our singles done. We are done with the NASDAQ. We'll answer our questions shortly. I just want to just look at the actual information, kind of let it just sit with me intuitively, and we'll see where we go from here. Same thing, the little singles areas over here. We ended up getting rejected from. Was this another? Was this? I'm just looking at my previous notes. I think it's supposed to be a low volume. Oh no. Yeah, yes, yeah. Okay, yeah. This is the previous VPOC. Oh, nice. I'm glad I have that. I'm glad I have that listed. Perfect. So we ended up rejecting this composite, which goes back to April. We ended up rejecting that this morning. I think that was RTH, right? Yeah, that was at the start of RTH. So yeah, this is what I didn't catch this in real time. But we ended up coming up here and then hitting our heads on the ceiling and then just going like straight down. And this was like a big sign, especially with the 7 a.m. data. But we'll look at this a little bit. Hopefully, I can glean something from that from a quick glance while we're here. Same situation. We ended up going through here. I'm not even gonna just let me go ahead and mark this little area there. I know there's a way you can do like automatic pop-up text, but we're gonna pass on that for now. Okay, cool. And then we ended up closing in the good old faithful, I believe, the contract premium area. Again, this is where we have the majority of our volume today, which is fine. It makes sense for us to build volume here because this was a gap in between. So as we were waiting, we were building volume in that little price imbalance discrepancy or whatever way you wanna look at that. So for now, we'll leave that here. I'm gonna go ahead and save these so we can have our drawings, and we're good there. Cool. So we kept that under 10 minutes. That was homework. That was all of our information. That was our metrics. So we understand kind of where we're at. Now we'll go a little more narrative on that respect. for like nuances. I'm pulling up on my other screen my journal so I can have my notes. So I'm just showing you that's what I'm working on. I'm not just talking. Wednesday, so that'll be Tuesday's analysis. We have all this information. Again, I have a quote on here. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Should be Leonardo da Vinci. Not sure if that's the case or not, but something I always look at before I do my homework. I digress. Where is the market coming from? The market is coming from more balanced days, as we just mentioned. We gapped up, not gapped up. We traded up. This is on. This one I need to do a better job with. We traded up on Thursday overnight, drift up, ended up shooting up, had like a higher low, balancing a little higher. We ended up peaking below that particular range. I know I have this information in my other videos. I'm just kind of just blowing through it. We ended up shooting up. This was a lower high. Ended up shooting down. We ended up, I think, protecting this, right? No, we broke through just a little bit. Ended up shooting up again. And then this was today. These are just 3 minute candles. So it kind of make things easier. These would be 30 minute candles. We'll see if this helps. This is definitely today. So this is the action that we had today. So we had our overnight, kind of tested down, and we just kind of poked through a little bit and then ended up kind of drifting up in the overnight. So where are we coming from? This was a pretty poor day. I believe that'd be neutral extreme. No, this was just a neutral day. Yeah, it should have been about a neutral day. So yeah, it was another balanced day that we had. Then we ended up leaking lower. I was a little surprised about this morning. But yes, we leaked lower. We ended up testing that low from the prior day, which was Monday, and then we drifted up straight up, no problem, all the way until RTH open, kind of shoot up, get rejected. Let's see what we do, and then just completely shit on themselves with that 7 a.m. data, and then just really has been straight down since then. Just trend down day. So I mean that's fairly simple. We can look at it through the lens of our DGPs, daily generated prices, I believe. So again, this would be the close from yesterday. This was the neutral. We closed right above the IB low. Kind of just went straight down and ended up doing a little down spike here. These are 3 minute candles, and then this is the rise up that we saw. As we get into RTH, we ended up shooting up. Looks like an open test drive. I wouldn't say that this is an open rejection because you're not really rejecting anything to the downside, but possibly a rejection to the upside. Given the impulse up, well, with the attempt. Hold on, let me do this. I'm sorry. With the attempt, 3 minute candles, with the attempt to kind of go down this open test drive and push up, and then just get smacked the hell down, and then just no real. It's kind of like they just gave up at that point. But yeah, just ended up just giving up here. Ended up closing with an open auction for the first bracket, 7 a.m. data. First 3 minutes, pretty nice leg down. We tried pulling up, ended up rejecting the RTH VWAP, closing above this 5 smoothing average. And then really, this was just a straight trend down for 3 hours. It's not really much to talk about. They tried to find some kind of support. We'll look at the Nasdaq in a moment, but we tried to find some kind of support, but no real luck with this. Just straight down, pretty aggressive. No real test for the VWAPs or anything. Once we did get to the VWAPs, we ended up getting smoked here, and then I mean this was below all these other levels here. So I mean this was we can look at some other charts, but for the most part, this knocked out several days. Um, several recent days, that is. Ended up finding some support here, tried some legs, found a little bit of more support, still wasn't enough. Another leg down, then a little V-shaped reversal here. Ended up holding once we got above this 5 smoothing average on this 3 minute. Ended up getting smacked down from this RTH VWAP, and then ended up a nice little trend up into the close. We tried to close strong. This is the imbalance here. We were already pushing up, and in the last 10 minutes, we had a little imbalance to kind of push us through and held, and then just straight down. And then we ended up getting into the close, and that's when we had the earnings. I believe it went down for a little bit and then pushed up, and then we just got like straight smoked. I absolutely love this dive, and then hold, and then immediately back up, and then just higher highs, higher lows. I actually ended up executing on this live. I'll show the trades on MES when we're done. I just gotta just keep this. I gotta keep this short. This is 15, a little over. It's almost 16 minutes now. So this is the S&P. I really do like this. We just bust out the these are just the full session candles. I mean, this is the RTH candles. This would be today, the 30th. I just really do like the way they held here. Um, this may be a potential setup for a nice little swing, which I'm in the profit so far. Um, so yeah. And then we have the Nasdaq. I believe this is about the same situation. For the sake of time, I don't believe I'm going to go through all these, but it should be similar nuances, except they were a little. They're above the. They opened up above the prior IB mid. The open up a little above as well, but I'm yeah near their IB high. So you know, definitely NQ was their weaker one. Noticed that in real time. They even traded more below that price from the prior low, which was yesterday on Monday. But still the same process. They ended up shooting up. You know, same thing with the open rejection. But they tried to coil a lot more at this IB low. I was a little nervous with this, which is the main reason why I ended up going short with the S&P 500 because I don't know, just tech seemed a little weird. Same thing, same process, same thing here. They just never got to their VWAP, so this is definitely a lot weaker overall. But I mean, they're already pushing past that level as well, which is a very nice recovery. And I'll go ahead and check here. That's not the case with the S&P 500. So this makes me kind of want to get out, but I do respect the fact that NQ is above this key price action zone there. So overall, very nice. So my questions are, where is the market coming from? They are coming from this balance day. We ended up having a little of a sell-off, and then we ended up having a leg up, trying to find balance, basically just trying to find balance, and we're just testing both sides is what it seems like. So where are we coming from? Higher balance with a tendency to go lower, but still have some respect for buyers, if that makes sense. What did the market try to accomplish today? Just that. Protect this zone down here at the bottom and stay higher. Ideally build volume above here. That was not accomplished today. It's about half and half. But bad on the sellers and bad on the buyers for the most part. But if I'm not mistaken, we are balanced, so that's about to be expected. But I do like that they both did close above the overall range. They didn't close, you know, that weak. So balance accomplishments on both sides. Were there any surprises? I'm a little surprised with this candle here. I really like this hold, and I really like this hold as well with NQ. Be mindful that this is NQ, and they're not going to be as price tight as, or they're not as tight as they're not as yeah, it's not as tight as the S&P 500. So I mean, this is about 40 points here versus like a couple of ticks. So definitely still weak overall, but you know I take that shit with a grain of salt, especially given AMD and Microsoft was the ones reporting. So I would imagine a little thinner book just in general. And then the final question: how did we finish? We finished, I think, with the big stumble, but a nice recovery. Again, I will go to the just quick note on this trade here for MES. This is where I got in down here. Um, Actually, during the that spike down. Yeah, they're ugly on the MES. They ended up breaking a lot more for their points. I didn't notice that. Um, I was mainly looking at the ES at the time, but I ended up waiting until this went down, and then as it was coming back up, hopefully I can see it on here and make sure I'm not like lying or anything. You can do like show fields, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because yeah, exactly. It came down, and once we went down some more on the S&P 500, that's when I got in here. I just didn't notice this was the case here, so it is what it is. Um, but yeah, that's it. That's basically all for today. I don't have any particular targets for this trade, as bad as it sounds. So part of me kind of wants to get out. I don't like the fact that they're not above that area, but at the same time, I'm giving this some room to run. So I mean, I'm gonna bring this up. I mean, this is at 48 right here. I'm gonna bring this up another 18, especially if they're gonna be like a little weak like that. I really don't care for it, but to be honest, I kind of just want to get out of my trade. But this isn't about my trade. This particular trade right now. I ended up taking a few more trades earlier. This was like an error over here, but my main trade was yeah, these were errors here. I have it on video when I was doing a lot of speculation, but this was A bracket, B bracket. This is that 7 a.m. data. These are 1 minute candles. Let me switch this to 3 to keep it consistent. We ended up breaking this low. I made sure I didn't enter too quick. Ended up bringing back up, kind of testing around this, hovering around this IB low area. Then as we ended up breaking down, I waited. We ended up closing here. We went back down. Um, I ended up, I ended up entering short once we actually broke this SOC low zone. I had my stop above this high here, and then I was 2 ticks away from getting stopped out. I was really close. I'm surprised I didn't get stopped out on the micro, to be honest, but it is what it is. I had myself on video when I was going through my thoughts with holding it. I ended up having an error here, and I bought on accident. So my rule is if I buy on accident, I just need to just close, flatten my trade because it just messes with me a bit mentally. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So that's really all. So today we will call today a balance, but basically a high to low day. So this would be a high to low day, and we are looking at this is the Nasdaq. We have balance, balance, high to low. Again, we have balance, balance, and then another high to low day. The range was for the IB, which is the first 30 minutes for me, was 16 points. The majority of that was that up thrust in the very beginning, and we did have that wick down towards the end as well. So just kind of some range expansion, but a open auction. So with the open auction giving the balance overnight range, given the multi-day coiling price action, this is 100% going to be a situation where when you broke to the downside, I was expecting continuation. So that was the main reason I ended up taking that short for the downside. I definitely could have played it a bit better. To be transparent, the trade should have been taking here on the NASDAQ, being a little more patient instead of entering, I think, like here ish for the S&P 500, waiting here and seeing this super weak close with poking under, or this doji here would have been a really nice entry point as well. I know some people call these like signal bars, but just that compression there. Um, but yeah, that's it. You have some other people thinking the same thing as well. So yeah, I'm really proud in the way that I handled today. It ended up being pretty well. Um, I'm gonna see if I can do a little more notes, but I think this is all for today. So yeah, the one trade that I want to take with me will be It's gonna be another occurrence of my IB low. Oop, that'll be on the Nasdaq. I'm sorry. Would be another IB low retest. or just this SOC low for like for important data. So I really like this close. I mean, all the action was taken inside the bar, and we couldn't trade above it at all. So rejected above, rejected the VWAP, open rejection from the start, given all kind of damn balance. So we have all this balance, and we're not willing to trade above. So I would imagine if this is indeed balanced and we have a mean reversion, we'll have some kind of thought with, uh, we'll have some thoughts with reversion possibly lower. And once you break here, ideally you would break prior low and then this overnight session, which is very close to these other bars. I mean, these other lows from the prior day on Friday. So that was just my thought process with it. It still makes sense to me in hindsight. Overall, I like it. We are running a bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. Yeah, GG's.